Never before have so many on-the-spot fines been issued in Britain. We're going to be following the men and women who hand out over £30 million worth of tickets every month.
Oops.
Round here, they are an absolute blight.
So I'm up to 104 now.
Wow.
That is disgusting.
Just walk away.
For behaviour that's downright dangerous,
That was stupid for these sort of conditions, wasn't it?
simply selfish,
Look at the mess you've created in the street.
How's that our fault?
or just, well, what is he doing? Plain silly.
What a donut.
We'll be revealing the cost of their bad behaviour
£100 fine.
Pays £260.
Ouch.
and how this could affect you.
I'll give them a punch.
You want to see me kick off?
The police are on it,
What the? Sir!
the parking wardens are on it,
They should be thanking us for being here.
and I'm on it.
Careful, it's a 30-mile-an-hour limit here.
I'm Dom Littlewood, and I'm on the spot. Today, there's a meaty fine at stake for these pizza-loving students.
Why are your bins full?
Sorry, because we have a lot of people in the house, which create a lot of waste.
So, yeah, and you've got enough bins for 14 people.
Beware of the dog do, because Big Brother is watching you.
That's where they tend to catch people on the cameras, because people don't realise that the cameras are strong enough to reach the bottom of the field. That's where they witness most of the incidents happening.
And will this unhappy driver manage to fight his parking fine?
£80 for something which I didn't even know nothing about.
The law's not on your side, essentially.
No, it isn't, isn't it?
Today, we're kicking off with being on the spot in Wiltshire. I'm riding shotgun with a busy traffic cop, and I love a bit of blues and twos, I think.
You've got to have a strong stomach being thrown around in a car like this, haven't you?
Hey, not being thrown around. This is a lovely, smooth, progressive drive.
For you, mate.
Mr. Cool here is Wiltshire Police's Jay Clifton.
10 minute speed limit for the motorway is 70.
Jay has the power to issue on-the-spot fines of £100 to anyone caught speeding on his patch.
M4, heading eastbound towards London. Pretty rural area, apart from, of course, this being a very busy motorway. What's this like for people using and abusing the privileges on the road?
It's the same as any motorway. We get speeders, and we get a lot going on, such as this one going past us now.
Could this be Jay's first fine of the day?
Why are we suddenly accelerating?
Just accelerating. As I've been chatting to you, I've just seen a vehicle coming up behind us who's certainly travelling in excess of 70 mile an hour speed limit.
What are you doing there? You're
So
doing 90 to keep up with, aren't you?
So I'm up to 104 now.
Wow.
This is more like it, but at the rate that driver's going, I'm wondering if there's going to be at least £100 on the spot fine for speeding on the cards.
I'm going to keep a distance between myself and the vehicle ahead of us.
With the vehicle in his sights, Jay now needs to start recording the evidence.
I've got a calibrated speedo on my vehicle, and it's a steady 100 miles an hour as well. So I'm going to quickly turn my camera on.
Right, because you've now videoed him doing in excess of 100 miles an hour, is that going to be a ban?
I could deal with it by way of a fixed penalty notice, or I could report him to go to court. His speed averaged between 96 and 100. It was only at a very brief distance that it went over it.
So this driver is driving fast enough to get a £100 on-the-spot fine, or he could go to court and end up with a ban. Which will Jay choose? Well, we need to catch him first.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is just come alongside him now. You follow me.
The reality is just hit them. How common an occurrence is that?
Speed on the motorway, very, very common.
The blue light's on. And I'm thinking, is this going to end in a fine for the speeding driver?
Hello there, sir, how are you? The reason I've stopped you is your speed.
The driver immediately admits to doing 80 to 90, and Jay is not impressed.
I have to point out, It is an offence to drive at excess speed. And in relation to that, you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention one question, something which you later rely on in court, and anything you do say may be given in evidence. It doesn't mean you're under arrest, but I want to have a chat about it. Do you have your driver's licence with you at all, sir?
Jay has read him his rights as a matter of procedure, but does this mean a court summons or an on-the-spot fine? And I've noticed something else.
What's a bit disappointing, the car's next to me, I can see right now his wife's sitting in the front, he's got 2 babies in child seats behind him, probably somewhere in the region, I would say, of 2 and 3 years old. We've all spared, none of us are angels, but when you've got young kids that age, I just think, well, personally, I think you need to be a bit more sensible.
Is there any lawful reason you can give me as to why you're travelling at that speed?
The guy still claims he was only doing around 80, but Jay is still unconvinced. Anyone else think this could end in a ticket?
Your speed averages between, I would suggest, 95 to 100. You know as well as I do, anything over 100 miles an hour, you go to court and you're likely to get disqualification for.
It's not looking good for this driver. It could be much worse than an on-the-spot fine.
However, because I had to catch up with you initially before keeping an equal distance between yourself and myself, I would suggest that perhaps that 104 may have been my acceleration to catch you up.
So, let's take a look at Jay's options. The driver has been clocked speeding with his young family in the car. Will it be a court summons if Jay is certain he was consistently over 100 miles an hour? Will it be a fixed penalty on the spot fine? Or maybe just a firm warning? At least that's what the driver wants.
I can. You're right, I can. But for you, I'm not going to. Your speed is well in excess of the 70 mile an hour speed limit. In view of that, the way I propose to deal with that today is by way of a fixed penalty notice, which is going to be 3 points on your licence and a £100 fine payable within 28 days.
There it is. The driver has escaped a ban. Just. But he's still got 3 points on his licence and a £100 fixed penalty notice.
Initially, he thought that the speed limit for the motorway was 80 to 90, although he's held his licence in the UK for 10 years. He couldn't answer the speed limit for the motorway.
The sort of speeds he was travelling at, how dangerous would you consider those to be?
The vehicle's travelling close to 100 miles an hour, 96 to 100 miles per hour. At that kind of speed, if another vehicle was to break down ahead of him or we had to take evasive action, someone's going to die. It's extremely dangerous.
What got me about that is those kids in the back were very, very young. They weren't even old enough to tell Dad, slow down. And I would find that very hard to believe that if you had kids of that age, you would even want to drive at that speed. It just seems mad.
To you and I, it seems mad, but everyone's different.
Yeah. Nuttier than a squirrel. That's what I say.
Let's get another one.
Right.
We'll be back with Jay a bit later on to witness some more dangerous driving. A bin for this, a bag for that. It's hard to keep up with recycling rules.
It can be quite complicated, like a tin lid on a jam jar. You know, you've got to separate it.
Not just me then.
Recycling. I think we should recycle because the world is disappearing under a mountain of junk.
But if the proverbial wheels fall off the wheelie bin, should there be an on-the-spot fine for messing up?
I think people should be fined if they make a mess of things, yes.
In Cardiff, the council are really getting tough on grime. The Welsh capital is booming with the fastest growing population in Wales. But with more people comes more rubbish, and more rubbish means more opportunities to mess up. Residents who break the city's new household waste disposal rules could face a £100 on-the-spot fine, courtesy of Waste Enforcement Officer Steph, who it seems can sniff out literally anything.
Yeah, it's a really strange smell by here. It must have been your high vis. It smells like feet. He's got new boots, new fleece. Look.
It's the hardest work over here.
Steph is joined on the beat today by fellow enforcement officer John. He's the one with the smelly high vis.
Let's go. See you later.
You know that saying, it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it? Well, in this job, it's actually true. Tell us that cat story, Steph.
It was a cat.
It must have been in the what was it, in a bag?
It was in a cardboard box, and Kieran, who I was working with, thought it was driftwood because it was that colour.
It'd been there for
and
so long.
And he picked it up like that, and he was like, oh, that would look nice in my fish tank. And I went, it's a cat. And you went, what? I said, it's a cat. And he turned it round and it's like, oh.
To meet tough new recycling targets, the council have introduced new slimline black waste bins, encouraging people to recycle more of their waste in green plastic bags rather than just putting it in the general waste bins. Today, Steph's finely tuned sense of smell and eagle eyes have tracked down some badly behaving waste belonging to some of the city's 30,000 students.
A lot of the students, they put extra waste out. So they put their bin out, and that's the only thing the bin men will collect, and then they keep putting extra waste out, not realising if they recycle properly or use the food waste bin, that they'd have more room in their black bin, and their waste would be collected.
Steph is clearly on a mission to find these student offenders. So if she does, what can they expect? Pay attention at the back. It could be either a caution, a £100 fine, or a £1,000 fine for a repeat offender. Ouch.
So, because these are near the lane, I'm just going to give these a little kick. Because you never know if there could be a mouse. I have been known to run away from leaves thinking that they're mice.
So, if you're not careful with that wrapper, boys, that could be a very expensive burger. Steph and John know exactly where they're heading today. They're off to visit a property that they've already had problems with. The first signs that waste is about are here, the scavengers.
The seagulls are here, we love it. Well, basically, you've got 9 boys living in a property there. I've had a problem with them. A couple of weeks ago, their front garden was full of waste. It was split as well. I've also had reports from their neighbours that they're dumping waste in their bins.
This is a shocking mess, but let's see if it's a finable offence. Here goes. First step, finding the guilty party.
Hi, Cardiff Council Waste Enforcement. Is this flat or is it one house?
One house.
One house, okay. How many do you live in the house?
9 of us.
There's 9 of you, okay. It's just about a bag that you've put out.
Next step, examine the evidence.
I just want to come out and have a look. It's obviously what yourself or one of your housemates just put it out. And this is the mess it's created.
Steph starts off with a softly approach.
We have a house of 9 people.
You've got enough bins there for 15 people, you're not recycling. Yep. Food waste goes in your food waste bin, and the recyclable materials, all right, go in the recycling bags, and they go out every week.
Unlike the residents.
Every week?
Recycling and food waste is weekly, and then your general waste bin is every
I've had our
fortnight.
bins here not collected for weeks before.
No, I'm sorry, I'm
Well, that's not, I'm not lying.
Perhaps they don't realise there's a £100 fine rising to £1,000 if they don't pay it.
Look at the mess you've created in the street.
Well, we created it. How's that our fault?
Because if you put a black bag out, all right, which if you put it in the correct receptacles would have been collected by the bin men.
Well,
you
where
didn't.
would we put the black bins if we're black bags if we didn't have a bin to put it in?
Temperatures and tempers are hotting up. There's going to be a fine.
This is a 10-man house.
Yeah, and you've got enough bins for 14 people.
We've got 2 bins.
Yeah, for 4. That's 8 people.
I've got 4 at home between 4 people. It's a bin each.
You just don't get it. If you put all your recycling in the bags, you'd have more room in your bins. It's as simple as that.
Is anyone else wondering what degree they're studying? It could be law.
Where are we going to put them in the kitchen? It's a health hazard, isn't it?
Why are your bins full?
Or drama.
But that's not a point, mate. The point is that so they get through when the bins are full, we put the plastic bags out.
Or maybe languages.
But to be honest, what other chance have I got? You.
Every single house has got rubbish on the front. Now, there's obviously a problem, isn't there?
Yeah,
I'd stay out of it, mate, if I were you. There could be a £100 fine on the cards here.
You can't just pin it on everyone.
I'm trying to help you and to tell you that if you put the recycling bags, you'd have loads more room in your bins, but you don't want to listen to that. You're just being rude and swearing at me.
That could be the final nail in the coffin. It's the moment of truth. She's gone to the lorry, and that's where she keeps her big penalty pad.
Their bins are plenty big enough for them. If they recycled and used the food waste bin, which goes out weekly, they'd have plenty more room in their bins. Even though they've got enough bins there for 14 people, there's only 9 of them there. They're not recycling, not using their food waste. They really don't care.
So, let's look at the facts. Clear evidence of overflowing split bins. No sign of recycling. everything chucked in the general waste bin. Food waste bins unloved, unused and empty. Oh, and let's not forget the attitude. So, to fine or not to fine? That is the question. There it is, the pad. Is it a £100 fine? Or maybe not.
I'm going to put them under Section 46 notice. Hopefully they're in there last year and they won't be back next year.
This time, it's a written caution and not a £100 fine. Better be on your best behaviour now, lads.
They'll get away with that mess today, but if they put waste out incorrectly, they'll have a £100 fixed penalty from next week onwards.
Nothing quite ruins your day like receiving a parking ticket. But if, like me, you've been given a ticket you think is unfair, you can appeal. Yeah, really. Today, I've come to the Environment and Traffic Adjudicators Tribunal in London to meet Ernest. He's disputing an £80 parking fine which he believes wasn't served correctly. But will his fine be upheld by head adjudicator Caroline?
So you're not actually disputing the fact that you've got the penalty, you're just saying you didn't receive the letter giving you a chance to pay the reduced rate?
That's correct.
OK. So there's £40 riding on it, hopefully?
Yes.
OK, good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, up to an incredible 50% of the cases that get heard here are successful. So the odds are good, but will Ernest be one of them?
The London Borough of Camden are alleging that on the 21st of March of this year in Portpool Lane you parked, and they say without payment of a parking charge. Do you accept that that's what happened?
No.
Right. So you never knew anything about it?
No.
You got what's called a notice to owner through the post?
Yes.
And are you saying you paid the penalty at that point?
Well, no, I believed, because I've had several tickets. This is not the first time this has happened to me.
What is it you believed?
That I paid on that time.
That you'd paid to park?
Yes, but I didn't, yeah.
Listen to my question before answering.
I don't know about you, but I'm scared.
Are you saying you paid to park, or that you paid for the penalty charge
No,
notice?
I paid the penalty charge notice.
But you're also saying that you never got it on your car.
Well, this I hasn't got.
But if you didn't get it on your car, how can you have paid it?
No, I've always had tickets on my car. I didn't know anything about it. This one I believed was the one I've received here at it.
Ernest is pretty adamant he's in the right, but is he? Is he going to escape his on-the-spot fine?
Right, because it... Listen to what... let's just try and follow it slowly. You've said that you never got a notice. I never received a notice except this one, and I have paid.
I believe.
Or I do receive. I have paid by the internet, so sort it out. So you're saying I've only ever had one ticket and I paid it. Is
No,
that
I've
what
had
you're saying?
2 tickets there.
2 tickets? I'm completely lost now.
Right. This there, and I've had tickets there.
You said I've never received a notice except this one.
Eh?
That's your
Yeah,
writing.
the notice telling me I never paid.
I know in your mind you think you didn't receive anything,
Yeah, I
but
didn't.
I'm saying to you that you must have, because here it is. This is something that you received.
I didn't receive any note telling me to pay.
Right. And that's what.
Yeah, that's why
When you received
when I
this-
received it, then I immediately wrote.
Come on, Ernest. That document's got your signature on it. You can't get much better evidence than that. Ah, hold on a minute.
Is that your car?
Yes.
We can see there that
Yes,
that's a ticket.
it's a ticket.
All right. So I think that I can safely make a finding that the ticket was served to your vehicle.
That's not disputed. It was I came out. I didn't see a parking ticket
That's
on
right.
the car.
And
The only time I
and
got your
I'm
letter.
trying to explain to you, sir, that
You know.
the problem that you've got is that by not receiving the parking ticket on the car, you were unable to take advantage of the 14-day discount
correct.
period. Right. So what happened was the council extended the offer to you to put you back in that position. Again, you didn't take advantage of that offer because you never read the letter. Yes?
That's correct.
We're at that point. Now you're here. I haven't got that power.
£80 for something which I didn't even know nothing about.
Right.
I mean,
We've
you
looked at
know.
the evidence. The ticket was on the car. You went into
Yeah, of course the
correspondence with
ticket's
the
in the
council.
car, but I never
They wrote to
received
you.
the
Yeah.
telling me. I didn't know what ticket you did.
I understand that.
Right, I think I've got a handle on the evidence. But in case you haven't, Ernest claims he didn't receive the first ticket and then didn't read the second ticket, which means he wasn't able to make use of the 14-day discount. So is Ernest going to get away with it, or has he got to pay that full £80 fine?
To cut a long story short, sir, your penalty amount is £80, and I'm not going to be able to allow your appeal. You haven't got a ground of appeal. I'll put it in writing for you, and you have a further 28 days to pay the penalty at the rate of £80.
So that's the £80 fine upheld.
The law's not on your side, essentially.
No, it isn't, isn't it?
If you want to wait for your decision
no,
letter...
it isn't. Don't I know? Don't I know?
I do feel a bit sorry for Ernest. One small mistake and he's got to cough up £80. If only he'd responded to that first offer.
Now, Ernest, I've got to be honest. When you left the courtroom there, I heard you swear a couple of times. You weren't very happy, were you?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
She never went in my favour at all.
Now, £80 is a lot of money for anybody. Okay, obviously it's going to hurt you a little bit, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Can I ask you a question, and can you be totally truthful with me, right? Right, the adjudication's all finished now. It makes no difference your answer now at all.
Yes.
Right. We all saw that photo with a ticket on your windscreen.
Yes.
Were you, be honest with me, were you just trying your luck to get it down to 40 quid?
To be honest, Don, if I did read the letter which they sent me thoroughly, I would have realised that they still gave me...
Another 14 days.
But
yeah.
I did not realise. When I saw the letter, I read the first section, I just put it on the side.
Ah, you see. No, OK, that's half the problem, though, isn't it? Because, right, you got a second chance to pay the 40 quid.
Yes,
Right.
But I read it and I just threw it on the side. I thought, oh, yeah, wait
Right.
till we go up there.
Now, listen, you just put your hands up, right?
Virtually.
OK, you put your hands up. Yeah, we're having a giggle now, aren't we? Come on.
Well, seriously, only because it was really my fault,
Yes.
because I never read it thoroughly.
OK.
That was
so that's why her decision is fair, isn't it? Come on. You didn't read the second letter.
No, I didn't, because if I did, I would have
You'd have
immediately paid it.
Right.
Rather than me having to go through this whole pain.
If you get another one of these in future, what are you going to do different? You're going to pay it early, aren't you?
As early as possible.
Right. Good on you, Ernest. Lovely chatting to you. Right.
I've seen you before somewhere along the line.
Yeah, probably Crime Watch, was it? Or was it Baywatch? Dog poo. No one likes it, do they? It's incredibly unhygienic and potentially dangerous to children. And in most boroughs, if you don't pick up after your pet and bin it, you'll end up getting a fine. The trouble is, catching the culprits is easier said than done.
It's not great if you were to step in some dog poo, yes. You can't get rid of the smell.
My personal belief is people don't pick up after their own dogs, have no self-respect, no respect for their pet, and no respect for anyone else on the public footpaths.
If you've got a dog that decides to use the toilet in the street, then take some bags with you.
Dogs, man's best friend. Except when they're doing a poo. And with 8 million man's best friends in this country, that adds up to 400,000 tonnes of it a year. But owners who don't clean up after their dogs could earn themselves a £100 on-the-spot fine, which is a lot of doggy biscuits. In one park in Blaby District, Leicestershire, the council have resorted to a high-tech solution to a lo-fi problem: CCTV.
I'm just going to look on the cameras now around the park just to see if anything's happening.
So dogs of the district, beware. Big Brother is watching you. And you. And you. No, not you.
Oi, clean that mess up. Yes, I'm talking to you.
Actually, they haven't fitted a loudspeaker. Well, not yet, anyway. Though I'm sure Michelle from the District Council's Animal Service Department wouldn't mind if they did.
The CCTV cameras are on the top of this pole. They've got 360-degree vision, and they're actually accurate enough. They can actually pick up cars behind these hedges. And what the groundsmen tend to find is, because of this slight bank, people tend to walk down to this bottom section of the field and think they're out of sight of people. And that's where they tend to catch people on the cameras, because people don't realise that the cameras are strong enough to reach the bottom of the field. And that's where they witness most of the incidents happening. It seems to be helping us keep on top of it and making people clean up
Around here, you can now get a £100 fine for not having a poop bag, even if your dog is innocent. Right then, should be some fines coming here. This could be one. What about this one?
If you have a dog bag on you, I'd like to see it. Obviously got a few in there. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Is this a fine?
Have you got poo bags with you today?
Hundreds.
Quite literally, hundreds.
Yes, well, I think they should be fined and made to pick up the dog poo as well.
Oi, I'm watching you. So, what's the total? The good people and good dogs of Blaby should be proud. There's not been a single fine today. Next, I'm back in Wiltshire on a 10-hour shift with traffic cop Jay Clifton. He's already handed out a £100 on-the-spot fine to a speeding driver.
I have to point out, it is an offence to drive at excess speed. And in relation to that, you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not make sure on questions that which you later rely on in court.
But I'm starting to realise that when you're out on patrol, you never know where the next fine is coming from.
Just had a report of a possible collision that's come in further ahead of us. It's going to go just going over that way. It's 5 vehicles colliding.
A collision? Sounds like someone could be on the end of a ticket here. Perhaps dangerous driving. I just hope no one's hurt.
Could just be a rear end shunt, but you always think the worst.
Is this traffic here as a result of that accident?
Yep.
A fine for dangerous driving could be anything up to £5,000.
Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
Let me see what we've got.
A1, go ahead.
Now, at the moment, these 5-car shunts actually bigger than cars. You've got a van that's gone into the back of a motorhome, that's gone into the back of an estate car, that's gone into the back of a MPV. The only good thing I can say is at the moment, everybody seems to be out of the vehicles. It doesn't seem to be any blood or guts, which I'm quite pleased about because I haven't got a very strong stomach for that.
Vehicle.
We're not needed.
The emergency services have got it under control, which is a relief for me. So there's no fine here. Not for Jay to issue anyway. But hold on a moment. As we are leaving the scene, Jay spots an illegal manoeuvre. And I'm no traffic cop.
Exactly a very sensible way to do it, is it?
It's not, and I'm waiting to see what he's going to do because...
But I'm wondering if this could be another on-the-spot fine.
What is he doing?
By the look on Jay's face, that lorry driver is going to need a pretty good excuse for that move.
Well, that's just plain stupid, isn't it?
That is absolutely ridiculous because he's just effectively done a U-turn in the middle of a crossroads, which is synonymous with collisions there, whilst all the traffic lights are changing from red to green.
It was worse than a U-turn. It was 270 degrees. He went round 3/4, didn't he, in an articulated lorry on a junction.
All it takes is for another car to come the other way, see a green light, and he's in the middle of the road. It's not acceptable.
It was a bit of a donut.
The driver has performed a dangerous and illegal manoeuvre, but he's done it right in front of a traffic officer. Will Jay be getting his notebook out?
Is this a possible fineable offence?
Yep. Careless driving is something that we can deal by way of a fixed penalty notice now, which is a £100 fine and 3 points on the licence.
So a lot of what happens now will depend on his attitude and...
If he can give me a reasonable reason as to why he's made that manoeuvre, then we can discuss it. But at the moment, I am considering giving him a fixed penalty notice.
A fixed penalty in this case would be £100. So, let's see how this goes.
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I've got a feeling this driver could be on the receiving end of an on-the-spot fine. But first, Jay must assess the situation.
Do you feel it was safe for you to do a big turn whilst all those cars are moving in the middle of the traffic light?
Yeah, it was other lorry behind me, and driver showed at me go or stop. Yeah, so I decided turn around and go this way.
Do you feel that was safe to do so with all those cars on a?
Yeah.
You honestly think that was safe?
I think yes.
Now, I've not been in the car with Jay long, but I'm pretty sure that might have been the wrong answer to avoid a fine.
In my opinion, I don't.
Yep, thought so.
Yeah.
And in the middle of those traffic lights, you've gone all the way around and back down again.
Yeah.
And you could have pulled forward to wait to see what was happening because you didn't know there was a collision there.
Other car driver showed me stop, not go there.
It's a tough job making those decisions, you know. I was watching that and I was thinking, what would I do? And the right side of me, if I was upholding the law, was saying, yes, it was stupid, he shouldn't be doing it, especially in that vehicle, he deserves the points. But then there was that element of me that was going, do you know what, give the guy a break, let him off, you know, he's learned his lesson, but, you know, would the roads be any safer if that happens? Probably not, I don't know.
I'm still not sure whether this guy's going to get a fine. He's pretty sure he's in the clear. So how about we take a look at his little spin one more time. There he goes, 90 degrees across the traffic. 180 degrees. Then back across the lane he started in. So has the driver done enough to persuade Jay to just give him a telling off? Or is it going to be an on-the-spot fine? Over to you, Jay.
And the way we deal with this careless driving is a £100 fine and 3 points on your licence.
And it's a fine. Jay was never going to let that one go, was he?
Is this the first time you've had points on your licence?
Yeah, first ticket and first point.
Will that affect your job, or are you allowed to sort of get away with a couple of points?
If I have 3 or 6 points, I don't know how it's in my company, but if I exceed 3 or 6 points, I can't work more in this company.
Right. What's your opinion of the police officer who's now decided to give you some points there?
Yeah, I think he's right. It's his job. Driving is my job. Yeah, and sometimes we do something wrong. Yeah, and I think this is next time I will be more careful.
A person who's in charge of a very large and very heavy vehicle and who should be considered a professional driver himself. He's taken extra driving lessons to be able to drive a vehicle of that size and therefore has a massive responsibility. By the manoeuvre he's made, he's put a lot of people at risk, not just members of the public, but emergency service personnel attending a collision. Wasn't good.
Yeah. So, his 270-degree spin in an articulated lorry has cost him a £100 fine and 3 points on his licence. Civil enforcement officers, or traffic wardens to you and me, really do get it in the neck. And sometimes it's hard to see that what they're doing is actually for our benefit and, more importantly, sometimes our safety too. And it's particularly hard to see that when we've just been issued with an on-the-spot fine.
Most parking wardens are doing a job. I think that some of them are a bit, how can we say it, jobs worth.
Yeah, that's the most hated job ever. I would never want to have a job.
It's a nuisance. You're always on edge in case someone's going to come along or you're going to come along and find something in the windscreen.
They don't want to help you. Do you know what I mean? They don't care if you're poor or if you're this or you're that. They just don't care.
Havering in northeast London. Popular with commuters, it has significantly higher rates of car ownership than the London average. In fact, over 32% of households have actually got 2 cars round here. And lots of cars means Havering has its fair share of traffic wardens too, like parking officer Cam.
You can see one vehicle on the footway, but my colleague's already with that vehicle.
Mid-afternoon, and she's off on her regular school run patrol, where the school bell brings its own challenges. But will it bring any £130 on-the-spot parking fines?
That is the road that the school is on. I like to normally get there about 5-10 minutes early and take pictures of the zigzag to show that it's fully visible.
Parking on yellow zigzags is high risk. Not only is it dangerous, but they are generally patrolled a lot more. And that means a greater risk of getting an on-the-spot fine.
Basically, it's a school, and at school times, you will get children running in and out across the road just because they're with their parents won't necessarily mean that they will cross sensibly. They're children. So when we have people parking on the zigzag, they're actually blocking a very big chunk of the view that a child is going to need to cross safely.
The parking problem has become so bad outside many of Havering's schools that it will be the first council to use special powers called Public Space Protection Orders, which are usually aimed at stopping antisocial behaviour in town centres. Parents who flaunt them could face hefty fines. A car soon catches Cam's eye. Could this be her first home time fine?
Hey there, sir, can you move on, please?
It's a polite request this time, but there's another potential offender. Are they heading for an on-the-spot fine?
Boss, you need to move. Off.
Charming.
You know, if anything, they should be thanking us for being here. But no, we're creating the problem. For trying to make it safer for children to come and go from school. This is what we get.
So far, Cam has given 2 verbal warnings, but no fines. Has she spotted her first proper offender?
Any vehicles on these yellow lines now, you see all of these? They're all illegally parked.
It's looking like Cam means business. The machine is out. She's having another look. She's typing in the registration. This has to be a ticket.
Has a resident permit, so it's definitely someone who lives within the borough. And if they live within the borough, I'm sorry, they should know that they're not allowed to be here.
Parking on a single yellow line despite the clear signage and near a school? It's not looking good for this driver. And there you go. That's a £130 on-the-spot fine. And that's 1 school time ticket down for Cam. Hang on, the owner's returned. Will she be able to overturn her penalty? She claims she's previously been told by Cam she can park on the yellow line.
No, that's if you're picking up and dropping off. You can't park and leave the vehicle there, ma'am, because then we don't know if it's a parent with the school or if it's another driver who's got nothing to do with the school. So if you need to pick up and drop off on the yellow line, that's fine. But if you leave the vehicle unattended, without being rude, we're not telepathic.
A telepathic traffic warden? Now that's a scary thought.
It's very difficult to find parking here around the time of school. We are finding parking on the other roads. We are wasting time, but because I'm coming from so far with 2 kids, it's very difficult to find park here.
Not here, not here, not here, not here. Not here, sir.
Surely the school bus isn't going to get a ticket too.
I don't care how many people you got in there, you are not stopping here. He thinks that it's OK to park on the zigzag in front of every parent when he's got a school bus full of children, that is just ridiculously like, are you serious?
The coach driver's lucky to get away fine-free this time. But for Cam, it's definitely not a popularity contest.
Parents saying, oh, your job's worth, get a proper job, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, how do you sleep at night? There's a lot of phrases that are quite frequently used, not just by parents, just average drivers, you know. But without being rude, I don't feel ashamed. I'm protecting your kids.
At least there's one parent who's on side.
Yeah, of course, parents need to be able to drop their kids off and go about their busy lives, but equally, the impact on residents, the realisation this is a busy road. Every time this is double parked with cars, there is a risk to children. Then there should be a happy medium for everybody.
4:45 and Cam's school patrol is over for the day.
And normally when you're leaving, this is how you want it. A full clear zigzag. And normally the traffic has gone down, the vehicles that were parked have gone, and we're free to sort of peacefully just get on with the rest of our day.
So Cam's school patrol has resulted in a couple of polite reminders.
Not here, not here.
And an on-the-spot fine for that single yellow line offender who's now £130 worse off. But she's not just dishing out tickets for the sake of it. Parking properly around schools could be a matter of life and death. Mum Stacey Dillieu has been campaigning for safer parking near her local school in Greater Manchester for the past 3 years.
That's a prime example. Well, as you can see, there's quite a lot of cars that are parked here, and these are all pretty much for the school pickup. There's a car at the bottom here that has literally just parked up on the corner. Any child that was trying to cross there would have a really difficult time.
Parking like this is a hazard to pedestrians at any time, but it's especially dangerous when there are kids around.
And he's just parked on the zigzag lines, right in front of the no stopping sign. That's just hit the nail on the head, really. It's clearly signed, no stopping, and he just blatantly parked directly in front of the sign. And as you can see, the sign is actually on an angle because several people have hit it.
Stacey has good reason to feel angry about dodgy parking like this. 6 months ago, her 10-year-old daughter Lily was hit by a car outside the school whilst getting an ice cream.
The ice cream truck was parked here. My daughter got excited, wanted to get some money from her dad, so she would have walked round here.
Right after school, and the ice cream man came, and I went across the road, and then the car hit me.
The illegally parked cars meant Lily wasn't able to see the oncoming traffic until it was too late.
She was thrown 20 feet into the air, a bullseye mark to the windscreen of the car, and the car pulled up here.
I couldn't see it at all because it wasn't there when I was crossing, and then apparently it was there.
My daughter managed to drag herself along the road. This gate here was open where my friend lives. She crawled into the back garden, and that's when people found out that, you know, the alarm was raised. It was very scary, really scary, seeing the police in my house, the paramedics coming to look her over. She was taken to the hospital. She spent the night in hospital.
Lily was lucky not to have been seriously injured, but the impact of the accident remains.
The emotional issues that she's got now, she's so scared to cross the road. Just emotionally and physically, it was horrendous. It really was, and we're still suffering now.
Despite what happened to Lily and the prospect of heavy fines, it seems some drivers just can't help themselves.
Cars on the pavement blocking the pavement for children. As you can see, there's lots of people with buggies and small children on scooters. I'm honestly not too sure what is going through their heads.
And Lily's message for thoughtless drivers is crystal clear.
It makes me feel lucky and quite upset because I'm lucky that I didn't die or break a bone. Do not park on the pavement and watch out for children.
If there's one thing I've learned today working with the civil enforcement officers is that they have a very, very tough job. And as they say, someone's got to do it. Join us next time for more Dom on the Spot.